You understand, right? She said, stirring her coffee without looking at me. Mom wants to keep it small this year, just real family. I nodded from across our kitchen table, watching Claire's fingers trace the rim of her mug. Didn't flinch. Didn't show how the words sliced through me like a blade finding bone. Of course, I said, voice steady. Family's important. She finally glanced up, relief washing over her face. I knew you'd get it. You're so understanding about these things. The next evening, my phone buzzed. A notification from social media. Someone had tagged me in a photo. Hensley Family Thanksgiving. So grateful for everyone who made it special. There she was. Claire, radiant smile, burgundy sweater I'd bought her last month. Her father carved the turkey. Her mother beamed from the head of the table. Her sister laughed at something off camera. And there, sitting in the chair that should have been mine, was Travis Richmond, her high school sweetheart, her ex from 5 years ago, the man she swore meant nothing anymore. Claire's hand rested on his forearm. Natural, comfortable, like it belonged there. I zoomed in on their faces, the way she leaned toward him, the way he looked at her like he'd never stopped loving her. They told me I wasn't invited because it was a family only. But he was there. That's when it hit me. I wasn't the outsider looking in. I was the target they'd been circling. My name is Gavin Reeves, and I should have seen this coming from the first day Claire brought me home to meet her parents. But when you grow up bouncing between foster homes like a pinball between bumpers, you don't learn to recognize the difference between genuine warmth and calculated performance. I was 12 when my parents passed away in a car accident. No grandparents, no siblings, no aunts or uncles willing to take in a grieving kid who wet the bed and had nightmares every night for 2 years. The state shuffled me through 7 different homes before I aged out at 18. Claire was different, or so I thought. I met her at a coffee shop 2 years ago. She was grading papers at a corner table, red pen moving across math worksheets with the precision of a surgeon. When she looked up and smiled, something inside me that had been frozen since childhood began to thaw. Second grade, she said when I asked about the papers. 23 kids who think 7 plus 5 equals 75. Close enough, I said, making her laugh. That laugh. God, that laugh made me believe in magic again. We dated for 6 months before she introduced me to her family. The Hensleys lived in a sprawling colonial with a wraparound porch and flower boxes that looked like something from a greeting card. Her mother, Patricia, hugged me like I was a son returning from war. Her father, Robert, gripped my hand and looked me straight in the eye. Any man who makes our Claire smile like that is family, he said. Family. The word I'd been chasing my whole life. I still remember the first Sunday dinner. I'd brought a cheap bottle of wine, nervous, overdressed, heart pounding like I was walking into a final exam. Patricia hugged me at the door and said, "We don't care about brands here, sweetheart. You showed up. That's what matters." Robert grilled burgers while asking about my job, my hobbies, if I liked football. He slapped my shoulder and said, "You've got good answers, son." That night, Rebecca called me bonus brother when we were cleaning up dishes. I went home feeling like I'd won the lottery. I kept the cork from that wine bottle in my desk drawer for months, proof that someone had once made room for me at the table. I threw myself into earning my place at their table. When Claire's sister Rebecca needed oral surgery, I paid the $3,000 bill without hesitation. When Robert's construction business hit a rough patch, I loaned him $15,000 to cover payroll. When Patricia's car broke down, I bought her a certified pre-owned Honda. "You don't have to do all this," Claire said one night, curled against me on the couch. "I want to," I replied. "They're my family now, too." She kissed my forehead. "You're so good to us. Good." I clung to that word like a lifeline. I proposed on Claire's birthday 8 months later, down on one knee in front of her entire family at their annual barbecue. The ring cost more than I made in 6 months, but seeing her face, the tears, the joy, the way she threw her arms around me, made every penny worth it. "Yes," she sobbed into my shoulder. "Yes, yes, yes." The family erupted in cheers. Robert clapped me on the back. Patricia cried happy tears. Rebecca squealed and immediately started planning the wedding. That night, lying in bed with Claire's engagement ring catching moonlight from the window, I finally felt like I belonged somewhere. I should have known it was too good to be true. The first crack appeared 3 weeks before Thanksgiving. Claire had been distant lately, distracted. She blamed it on work stress. Parent conferences, report cards, the usual second-grade chaos. I believed her because I wanted to believe her. Then Travis Richmond came back to town. Just for a few weeks, Claire mentioned casually over dinner. His mom's having surgery. He's helping out. Travis, the golden boy who dated Claire all through high school. Star quarterback, valedictorian. The guy every parent wanted their daughter to marry. He'd left for college on a full scholarship while Claire stayed local to become a teacher. They'd tried long distance for a year before calling it quits. "That's nice of him," I said, cutting into my steak. "Yeah, he's always been thoughtful like that." Something in her voice made me look up, a softness I hadn't heard in months. "You two still talk?" "Sometimes, when he's in town." She shrugged. "We're friends! Ancient history!" Ancient history. Right. The week before Thanksgiving, Claire started working late, every night. She'd come home after 9, claiming parent conferences were running long. "Can't you schedule them during the day?" I asked. "Not all parents can get off work," she snapped. "Some of us care about our students' success." The guilt trip worked. I backed off, but something gnawed at me. An instinct honed by years of reading foster parents' faces, learning to detect the difference between truth and convenient fiction. Tuesday evening, I drove past Claire's school. The parking lot was empty, except for a janitor's van. No parent conferences, no late meetings. So where was she? I found out Thursday night. "You understand, right?" she'd said Friday morning. "Mom wants to keep it small this year, just direct family." I understood, all right. I understood that while I'd been playing the role of devoted fiancé, Claire had been playing a different game entirely. I stared at that photo for 2 hours, zooming in, studying every detail. The way Travis's hand rested on the back of Claire's chair. The way her mother beamed at him like he was still the son-in-law she'd always wanted. The way the whole family looked complete without me. My phone buzzed. A text from Claire. "Missing you. Wish you were here. Love you." 3 lies in 1 message. Impressive. I set the phone down and walked to my home office. The room where I'd spent countless hours managing Claire's family's finances, organizing their tax documents, researching investments for Robert's business. I opened my laptop and created a new folder. Contingency plan. I started with Claire's car. Saturday morning, while she showered, I slipped a small GPS tracker into her glove compartment, the kind private investigators use, magnetic, undetectable unless you knew where to look. "Running errands today," she announced over breakfast. "Grocery shopping, maybe hit the mall." "Sounds good. Need me to come?" No. Girl time with Rebecca. You'd be bored." I smiled, kissed her cheek. "Have fun." 2 hours later, the tracker showed her at the Grandview Hotel. Downtown, expensive. The kind of place you take someone when you want to impress them. She stayed for 93 minutes. When she came home, bags from Target and Macy's in hand, I asked about her day. "Exhausting," she sighed. "Rebecca dragged me everywhere. You know how she gets?" I called Rebecca that evening, just to chat. "How was your shopping trip with Claire?" Silence. Then, "Shopping trip? I've been home all day with a migraine. Didn't Claire tell you she was shopping with Rebecca?" My mistake. Must have misheard. But I hadn't misheard anything. The real breakthrough came Wednesday night. Claire had left her tablet on the kitchen counter, still logged into her messaging apps. The same apps synced to her phone. I shouldn't have looked. Good men don't violate their fiancé's privacy, but I wasn't feeling much like a good man anymore. The messages were all there. Weeks of them. Travis. "Seeing you Thursday felt like coming home." Claire. "I know, I've missed us." Travis. "When are you going to tell him?" Claire. "Soon. After the holidays. I need to be strategic about this." Travis. "Strategy. Always thinking ahead. That's my girl." Claire. "I feel terrible, but he's been so good to my family. The timing has to be right." Travis. "You can't live a lie forever, Claire Bear." Claire Bear. The nickname that made my stomach turn. I scrolled deeper. Claire. "He paid for Rebecca's surgery and Dad's business loan. If I leave now, it looks awful." Travis. "So what's the plan?" Claire. "Marry him. Wait a year. File for divorce. Irreconcilable differences. I'll get half of everything and my family won't look like we used him." My hands shook as I read that last message. Sent 5 days ago. Travis. "Cold. I like it." Claire. "He'll never see it coming. He's too trusting. Too trusting." The words hit like a physical blow. I screenshotted everything. Then I kept digging. There was more. So much more. Hotel reservations, restaurant confirmations, plans for Christmas week while I'd be visiting clients out of state. And then I found it. the message that made everything crystal clear. Claire, I'll meet you at the lawyer's office Friday. Better to get the consultation done before the wedding. Friday, tomorrow. I opened her email app, found the appointment confirmation from Davidson and Associates, Family Law. Subject, Post-Nuptial Asset Division Strategy Time, 2 p.m. My vision blurred. The room spun. They weren't just having an affair. They were planning my financial destruction. Every dollar I'd given her family, every investment in our future together, it was all part of an elaborate setup. I wasn't Claire's fiancé. I was her mark. Friday afternoon, I sat in my car across from Davidson and Associates. Waited. At 1:55, Claire's Camry pulled into the parking lot. Travis climbed out of the passenger seat. They walked into the building hand in hand. My phone buzzed. Claire, quick appointment with the florist. Wedding planning never ends. Love you. I turned off the phone and drove home. In my office, I opened a new spreadsheet. Listed every penny I'd given the Hensley family over the past 2 years. Rebecca's surgery, $3,200. Robert's business loan, $15,000. Patricia's car, $12,500. Various dinners, gifts, emergencies, $8,300, total $39,000. My life savings. Money I'd scraped together from years of 12-hour days and ramen dinners. Money they'd stolen while planning to destroy me. I opened my laptop and started making calls. Matthews Investigations, a gruff voice answered. I need surveillance, I said. Photo documentation, full package. What's the situation? Infidelity. I need everything legally admissible in court. The investigator, a former cop named Sullivan, met me that evening. 50s, steel gray hair, eyes that had seen every kind of human betrayal. You sure you want to go down this road? He asked, accepting the envelope of cash. Some things you can't unsee. I'm already seeing them, I replied. I just need proof, Sullivan nodded. Give me a week. While he worked, I played the perfect fiancé. Smiled when Claire came home late, pretended to believe her lies about work stress and wedding planning. But I was planning too. Tuesday morning, I emptied our joint savings account, $47,000. Moved it to a new account at a different bank. Claire only contributed about $8,000 to that account anyway. The rest was mine. Wednesday, I met with Bradley Morrison, the sharpest family law attorney in the state. Interesting situation, Morrison said, reviewing Sullivan's preliminary report. She's essentially committing wire fraud by soliciting funds for a marriage she never intended to honor. What are my options? Legally, you can sue for the money you gave her family. Emotionally, you can disappear and leave them scrambling. What would you do? Morrison smiled coldly. I'd make them pay for both the money and the humiliation. That evening, Claire suggested we meet her family for dinner Sunday night. Just a casual thing, she said. Mom's making her famous pot roast. Sounds perfect, I said. It would be. Sullivan's final report arrived Friday morning. 43 photographs, time-stamped, crystal clear. Claire and Travis entering the Grandview Hotel, kissing in the elevator, walking to room 412, leaving 3 hours later, clothes wrinkled, hair messed, the lawyer meeting, hand in hand, emerging with documents. Shopping trips that were actually rendezvous, late-night phone calls from her car in empty parking lots. This is comprehensive, Morrison said, reviewing the evidence. She won't be able to explain this away. I don't want explanations, I said. I want justice. What's your timeline? Sunday dinner. Her whole family will be there. Morrison grinned. I like your style. Sunday arrived gray and cold. Perfect weather for an execution. I dressed carefully. Navy suit, blue tie. The same outfit I'd worn when I proposed. The irony felt appropriate. Claire seemed nervous all day, checking her phone constantly, jumping when it rang. You okay? I asked. Fine, just tired. At 6 o'clock, we drove to her parents' house. The same colonial where I'd first felt like I belonged, where I'd spent dozens of holidays and birthdays, believing I was part of something real. Patricia hugged me at the door. Gavin, you look handsome as always. Thank you, Mrs. Hensley. You look lovely. Robert gripped my hand. How's business? Can't complain. Actually wanted to talk to everyone about something tonight. Claire shot me a sharp look. What kind of something? I smiled. Just family stuff. Dinner was Patricia's famous pot roast, the same meal I'd eaten dozens of times. Tonight, it tasted like cardboard. Rebecca chattered about her new job. Robert complained about supply chain issues. Patricia fussed over everyone's plates. Normal. Domestic? A perfect family scene. Except for the envelope in my jacket pocket. This is nice, I said, cutting my meat. Having everyone together? We should do it more often, Patricia agreed. Family's so important. Absolutely, I said. Speaking of family, I reached into my pocket and pulled out the envelope, set it on the table next to my plate. There's something I need to share with everyone. The conversation ended. 5 faces stared at me with varying degrees of confusion and concern. Gavin, Claire said carefully. What's that? Evidence, I said simply. I opened the envelope and spread Sullivan's photographs across the table like playing cards. 43 images of Claire and Travis together. Hotels, restaurants, law offices. Patricia gasped. Robert's fork clattered to his plate. Rebecca's mouth fell open. Claire went white as bone. You had me followed, she whispered. I had you investigated, I corrected. There's a difference. Travis's photo smiled up from the evidence spread. Kissing my fiancée, planning my destruction. Gavin, Robert started, but I held up a hand. Let me finish. 2 years ago, I thought I'd found a family. People who cared about me. People I could trust. I looked around the table. I was wrong. Son, Patricia began, tears in her eyes. I'm not your son, I said quietly. I never was. I was an investment. A convenient source of funding while Claire figured out how to get back with her real choice. Claire found her voice. It's not what it looks like. It's exactly what it looks like. I pulled out my phone, opened the screenshots of her messages, read them aloud. He's too trusting. Wait a year. File for divorce. I'll get half of everything. He'll never see it coming. The silence was deafening. Robert's face had turned red. Claire Marie Hensley. Don't, she snapped. Just don't. This is between Gavin and me. Actually, I said, it involves all of you. I pulled out a second envelope. Legal documents, itemized lists. $39,000, I announced. That's what I've given this family over the past 2 years. Surgery bills, business loans, car payments, gifts. I slid copies across the table. My attorney calls it fraud by deception, accepting money under false pretenses. Patricia's hand flew to her mouth. Gavin, we didn't know. Didn't you? I stood up, straightening my tie. Rebecca, did you think your surgery was free? Robert, did that $15,000 just materialize in your account? Patricia, where did you think that car came from? We thought you were being generous, Robert said weakly. You thought I was family, I corrected. But family doesn't plan your destruction while eating your food. Claire finally exploded. You self-righteous piece of garbage. You think your money bought you the right to control my life? I think my money bought me the right to honesty, I replied calmly. But apparently that was too expensive for the Hensley family budget. Get out, she snarled, standing up so fast her chair toppled backward. Get out of my parents' house right now. Your parents' house, I smiled coldly. The one with the mortgage I helped refinance? The one where I fixed the roof last spring? I gathered the photographs, replaced them in the envelope. You're absolutely right, Claire. I should go. But first, I need to let you know about a few changes. I pulled out my phone, opened my banking app, turned the screen toward them. Our joint account is empty, $47,000. Moved to a new account in my name only. Claire's face went ashen. You can't do that. I already did. Turns out when you're planning to leave someone, you shouldn't let them know in advance. Robert stood up, face flushed. Now wait just a minute. No, Robert, you wait. My voice carried an edge I'd never used with him before. Wait for the papers from my attorney. You have 30 days to repay the $15,000 you borrowed. With interest? I don't have that kind of money. Then you shouldn't have taken it under false pretenses. Patricia was crying now. Gavin, please. We can work this out. Like Claire worked out her relationship with Travis? I headed toward the door. I don't think so. Claire followed me, grabbing my arm. You're destroying my family over nothing. I turned to face her. Really looked at her. The woman I'd loved. The woman I'd planned to marry. The woman who'd seen me as a convenient fool. I'm not destroying anything, I said quietly. I'm just stopping the construction on something that was built on lies. She slapped me, hard. The sound echoed through the hallway. I hate you, she whispered. Good, I replied, touching my cheek. That's honest. First honest thing you've said in months. I walked out into the cold night air, leaving the Hensley family to count the cost of their deception. The fallout was swift and brutal. Monday morning, Claire called in sick to work. Spent the day trying to access our joint account, discovering the new reality of her situation. She called me 17 times, left 12 voicemails. We need to talk. You can't just steal our money. This is insane. Call me back. My family didn't do anything wrong. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. Can we please just talk? I didn't respond. Tuesday, Bradley Morrison filed papers. Fraud charges, civil suits for recovery of funds. Restraining orders preventing disposal of assets. Wednesday, Claire showed up at my office. She looked terrible, hollow-eyed, desperate, the polished teacher facade completely gone. 5 minutes, she pleaded with my secretary. Just 5 minutes. I let her in. Gavin, please, she said, closing the door behind her. You have to stop this. You're going to destroy my family. Your family destroyed itself, I replied, not looking up from my computer. I'm just presenting the bill. We can fix this. Travis is gone. I ended it. It was a mistake. A mistake? I finally looked at her. 2 years of mistakes? Planning to divorce me was a mistake? Meeting with lawyers was a mistake? Tears streamed down her face. I was confused, scared. The engagement moved so fast. Save it for the judge. She collapsed into the chair across from my desk. What do you want? Money? I'll pay you back every penny. With what? Your teacher salary? I'll figure it out. Just please don't destroy my parents. They're good people. Good people don't take money while planning to help their daughter commit fraud. They didn't know. I pulled out my phone, opened another screenshot from her messages. Claire. Mom thinks you're perfect for me. Feels so guilty about the money you've given us. Travis. But she doesn't know about us? Claire. Of course not. But she knows I'm having doubts. She told me to be careful not to break that poor boy's heart. Poor boy. Like I'm some charity case he's lucky to have. I turned the phone toward Claire. Your mother knew you were having doubts. She watched me give you money anyway. That's complicity. Claire read the message, her face crumbling. That doesn't mean... It means your entire family saw me as a convenient fool. The foster kid so desperate for belonging that he'd pay any price. That's not true. Then why didn't anyone tell me about Travis being at Thanksgiving? Silence. Why didn't anyone mention him visiting for weeks before that? More silence. Why did your mother hug me last Sunday while knowing you were having doubts about our engagement? Claire buried her face in her hands. I can't fix this, can I? No, I said you can't. She looked up, mascara streaking her cheeks. What happens now? Now you face the consequences of treating someone's heart like a business transaction. She stood up, wiping her face with the back of her hand. I loved you. Some of it was real. Which part? I asked. The part where you planned to divorce me or the part where you called me too trusting? She had no answer. At the door, she turned back. I'm sorry. For what it's worth, I'm truly sorry. It's worth nothing, I replied. But thanks for finally being honest. The legal proceedings moved quickly. Robert couldn't repay the business loan. Morrison filed liens against his assets. The construction company folded within 2 weeks. Patricia lost the car. Repo men came Thursday morning while she was at her book club. Rebecca, panicked about her surgery debt, tried to negotiate a payment plan. Morrison was unmoved. Your brother-in-law committed fraud, he told her. Your sister planned it. Your parents enabled it. The court doesn't recognize family ignorance as a legal defense. Claire was forced to sell her engagement ring to pay her attorney fees. The same ring I'd chosen with such hope, such love. It sold for 60% of what I'd paid. Travis, meanwhile, had disappeared again. Moved back to Chicago the day after the Thanksgiving photo. Left Claire to face the consequences alone. Some golden boy. Some great love. A week before Christmas, Claire sent one final message. I know you'll never forgive me. I don't expect you to. But I need you to know that losing you taught me something about myself I wish I'd learned sooner. You deserved better. I'm sorry I wasn't better. I read it twice, then deleted it. New Year's Eve, I sat at my apartment, a new place across town, drinking bourbon and watching snow fall outside my window. My phone rang. Rebecca. Gavin, it's me. I know. I wanted to apologize for everything. What Claire did, what my parents did. It was wrong. Yes, it was. Do you think maybe someday we could be friends again? You were good to our family for a long time. I considered the question. Rebecca had been caught in the middle. Young, naive, maybe genuinely innocent. Rebecca, I said finally. Friendship requires trust. I'm not sure I'll ever trust anyone named Hensley again. I understand, she whispered. I miss you. You felt like the big brother I never had. The words hit harder than expected. I felt like you were the sister I never had, too. Then why can't we? Because your sister made sure I'll never feel that way about your family again. Silence. Then, I hate her for this. I hate all of us for this. Don't hate yourself, Rebecca. Just learn from it. I hung up and poured another bourbon. Outside, fireworks lit up the sky. Another year ending. Another beginning. For the first time in months, I felt something approaching peace. 6 months later, I was promoted to regional manager. More money, more responsibility, more travel. I bought a house in a different part of town. Modern, clean lines. No memories of the Hensley family scattered through the rooms. I started dating again, carefully. Susan, a veterinarian with laugh lines around her eyes and no interest in my financial portfolio. You're guarded, she observed after our third date. Experience, I replied. Bad experience? Educational experience. One evening, while Susan was making dinner in my new kitchen, my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. This is Patricia Hensley, Claire's mother. I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but I wanted you to know that Robert passed away from a heart attack. Heart attack? I thought you should know. I stared at the message for a long time. Susan noticed. Everything okay? My ex-fiance's father gone? Oh, I'm sorry. Were you close? I thought about Robert, the firm handshake when we first met, the pride in his voice when he called me family, the betrayal when I learned it was all performance. I thought we were, I said. Do you want to go to the funeral? No. Are you sure? I deleted the message. I'm sure. But that night, lying awake while Susan slept beside me, I thought about Robert Hensley, a man who'd built a successful business, raised 2 daughters, loved his wife for 37 years, a man who'd also watched his daughter plan my destruction while accepting my money. Complex, flawed, human. I felt sad about his passing, but I didn't feel guilty about my choices. Some bridges, once burned, can't be rebuilt. A year after that, I married Susan in a small ceremony. Her family, my coworkers. Morrison served as my best man. We'd become unlikely friends through our legal business. No ex-fiancés on the guest list, he joked during his speech. I checked. Everyone laughed, even me. After the reception, Susan and I sat on our hotel balcony, still in our wedding clothes, watching the city lights. Do you ever think about her? Susan asked. Claire? Sometimes. Do you regret how it ended? I considered the question. I regret that it happened. I don't regret how I handled it. That's a healthy distinction. Expensive education in human nature. Susan took my hand. Well, you got an A+ in protecting yourself. And in recognizing the real thing when it came along. She smiled. Charmer. 2 years of marriage taught me the difference between love and performance. Susan never asked about my finances. Never suggested her family needed help. Never made me feel like I had to earn my place in her life. She loved me for who I was, not what I could provide. It was a revelation. Last month, 5 years after the Thanksgiving photo that started it all, I received an envelope in the mail. No return address, postmarked from Portland. Inside, a handwritten letter. Gavin, I hope this finds you well. I know I have no right to contact you, but I wanted you to know that I think about you often. About us. About the life we could have had if I'd been brave enough to be honest. I moved to Oregon 2 years ago. Fresh start. I'm teaching 3rd grade now, and I love it. I'm single. Probably will be for a while. I'm working on being the kind of person who deserves love instead of just taking it. I heard you got married. I'm happy for you. I hope she knows what she has. I'll always be sorry. I'll always remember what it felt like to be loved by someone who saw the best in everything, even when I couldn't see it in myself. I hope you're building the family you always wanted. You deserve everything good. Claire. I read the letter 3 times. Then I walked to my fireplace and fed it to the flames. Susan found me there an hour later, staring at the orange glow. Bills? She asked, settling beside me on the couch. History, I replied. Good history or bad history? Finished history, she kissed my temple. The best kind. That night, I dreamed about the foster homes of my childhood. The temporary families who'd taken me in and taught me that love was conditional, provisional, always subject to change. But I also dreamed about Susan's family, the way her father hugged me like I'd always belonged, the way her mother included me in family photos without being asked, the way her siblings treated me like real family from the first day we met. Real family, chosen family. Family that doesn't require payment plans or performance reviews. I woke up grateful, not for the pain Claire caused, but for the lessons it taught, about self-worth, about recognizing authentic love, about the difference between being wanted and being needed. Some education comes from books, some comes from betrayal,